your fucking pride.
Monkey D. Luffy. D. Luffy. I'm this bad guy.
Why would they do that, bro?
Bro, because this get you ready, don't Yeah! No!
What is good, people? It is your boy T-Rav. I'm here once again with the Top Gun Maverick movie review. Now make sure to like, comment, subscribe before we get into it. But oh man, I'd say for sequels, and y'all know how it is. Normally sequels that have been put off for so long, they don't hit. And matter of fact, most of the time they fucking flop like a fish. Okay. Example 1. Matrix Resurrections. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, there's only been 3 Matrix movies released. But regardless, yeah, man, Top Gun just hit on a lot of notes that I think people, you can't fully appreciate unless you go back and watch the first one. And I do highly, highly recommend that you go and watch the first one first. Or you can kind of do it like me and go watch it afterward to see what the true differences were. But man, it had been over a decade since I had seen the original Top Gun. So when I went back and rewatched it after I went and watched this movie, it was pretty incredible how much they did pay homage to the original one, but then at the same time they did their own thing, and they flipped certain characters on their head. You know what I'm saying? There was added flair, extra sequences to the story that we didn't get way back in the day. But at the same time, they also did like remake a bunch of the scenes that they did back in the day like 10 times better. And obviously they can do that now because, you know, in this movie they're messing with F-18s, and back then, you know, they're messing with F-14s, and that's the top of the line stuff. But not only that, in this new movie we got the new generation jets that are a menace, and then you got this spaceship looking thing that this nigga was messing with at the beginning of the movie. Now the movie starts off and he's off in the desert somewhere, and he's doing this ultimate test, which Admirals is about to come shut down, obviously in Maverick fashion, not following the rules, even though he could get fired and court-martialed and all the above for what he's doing. He goes ahead and goes after it, and their test was to try and get to like Mach 9, which is ridiculous. But you already know how he is. If he doesn't get to 10, then the whole program gets shut down, all this other stuff. But that's not enough. Of course he has to push it even further. Dog, when I tell you that the camera shots in this movie was extra clean, they were extra clean. I mean, they even had like a satellite shot when that scene was taking place, and you just see this nigga huffing it, son. I mean, my God. Obviously, it didn't turn out well because the thing caught on fire. This nigga, he walks in some diner looking like a charcoal man, and he just goes and he asks for a glass of water or whatever in some random little podunk town, and the niggas there think he's an alien. I mean, I would think that too. If you just saw some man in what looks like a spacesuit come walking up, and he's crispy charred black, because he just entered through the atmosphere at record-breaking speed, yeah, I'd probably think he's an alien too. But before he's about to catch all the work when it comes to the court-martial and all that, the man Iceman calls in a favor, and then we're going back to Top Gun to teach the best of the best for this one mission that's just, oh my gosh, dog. You think it's going to be a difficult mission. You don't really understand how difficult it's going to be until they start breaking down the details. They got to fly through this canyon underneath 100 feet. So a bunch of anti-air missile defense things don't target them and shoot them right out the sky. So they got to do that while going 660 knots at the minimum. And then they have to do it within 2 minutes. Oh, and there's 2 pairs of fighter jets that have to hit the same target, basically back to back. And then right after that, they got to pull some crazy G-force stunt where they got to climb straight up and hit like 10 G's. And if you know, then you know that if you go up that high, your body will literally, it's like they said it's like an elephant sitting on your chest. Like, Jesus Christ, dog. But it's just the way they just dove more into breaking it down on how difficult it actually is for these fighter pilots to make this happen. It's really crazy. And I love it because all these little niggas think that they're just the big stuff. They're like, oh, we're all the best of the best. Because they're all graduates of Top Gun already. So they're out, I guess, doing their little thing. But they're young hotshots, you know. They've gotten their feet wet, but they ain't savvy veterans like my man. They're like, who we gonna get to teach us? And obviously it's that man. Okay, but I will say this for the new crew that they got going on for this. I like it. I like the dynamic that they had for pretty much all these little characters. Fanboy, Payback, man, y'all was kind of, you know, extra. But I really like Phoenix and Bob because, you know, Phoenix helped Bob a lot. He was definitely the most shy and nervous one, but he's there because of his skill too. And that was going to be her co-pilot, man. So she took him under her wing, and they made for a great team. And I just love the banter between him and Phoenix, and then Hangman. And let me shout out to Hangman, dog. And I hated this motherfucker, okay? But talk about the douche, all right? Because he's constantly giving it to Miles Teller. And Miles Teller is the son of Goose. Now, if you should have watched the movie, but Goose was Tom Cruise's co-pilot way back in the day, and obviously he died due to what's really like, there's nothing, it wasn't his fault back in the day. It was really just like a machine malfunction because the cockpit didn't release quick enough, because when they went to eject, like, Goose hit the fucking top of the canopy, and I'm sure it seemed like he died on impact going and rewatching the first movie, but it's very tragic. It's horrible. It was an accident, and really and truly, I like the fact that he's come so far and that he's like, Iceman is one of his best friends. And you see that by the end of the movie, like, they're definitely on good terms and talking about, you could be my wingman anytime, all that. But Iceman was kind of responsible for that tragic accident happening. All right. But there was a little scene where he did say that he was sorry, but, you know, I think, you know, Maverick realized that it wasn't really his fault. It wasn't really anyone's fault, but the simple fact that they got to do what they love to do, and they probably wouldn't have changed anything about it, honestly, because Goose was just a solid lad, man. He was a solid lad, and it sucks. It really does. But now, what Miles Teller thinks is that, like, what were you doing, bro? Like, you were supposed to protect my father. I'm not going to make the same mistake by trusting you like how he did. And there's another layer to it, too, because apparently at some point, Maverick pulled the papers of Goose's son, and his call sign is Rooster, badass name. But yeah, he pulls Rooster's papers to prevent him from applying to the Naval Academy or whatever. So it took like 4 years off of his career, which you can understandably be pissed off about, because it's like, my nigga, why did you do that to me? You hadn't been helping me, and now you're actively trying to hold me back and stop me from doing what I want to do. That's messed up. All right, but so he's at odds with Maverick pretty much the whole movie. But one thing that's kind of cool is that in this movie, Hangman is more like how Maverick was. Just like this hotshot, think he can do anything. Oh, I'm not really concerned about my teammates. Now, Hangman's like that to the extreme. They literally call him Hangman because he will hang his teammates out to dry, which is fucked up. But I just like the antagonistic role he plays, because he's like, you know, he's Rooster's rival. Like, they both, everyone seems to think that they're the two best, but at the same time, Hangman has the skills to pay the bills, and Rooster does, but he doesn't take the chances that he's supposed to. He's overly concerned and cautious when it comes to having everybody get home, understandably so. But in this mission, you don't have the ability to do that. Y'all have to complete this mission, and go take out this uranium plant before it finishes construction. Otherwise, everything's fucked. Okay, but they're training, and bro, it was so cool because they literally redid the scenes like how they did from the first Top Gun when Jester is squaring up against Maverick and all them. When they're Top Gun students, Maverick does the same thing to them. But the difference is nobody gets the upper hand on Maverick, okay? They think they do, but this man shows fancy flying. Like, it's just, it shows the difference between somebody who's been in a lot of combat, real deal combat, and then those who have not. Hangman's the only one out of these folks that has like an actual confirmed kill from like shooting down another fighter jet. But that's clearly nothing compared to what Maverick's done. Because in the first Top Gun, he took out 3 at the same time. So that's still a record, I guess, that holds up to this day. And by the end of the movie, he's taking out multiple more. So the record books just keep getting further and further away for the new generation. That's okay. But yeah, so he's putting them through the ringer and trying to get them ready and prepared. And, you know, he's not too sure if he's cut out to be a teacher, because he did try to be an instructor basically right when he got out of Top Gun, and he flamed out within a couple months. Now, part of that was due to the fact that he is someone who bends the rules. He pushes the envelope. He's not exactly following the status quo that I'm sure the top brass would like to see. And the top brass in this one, oh man, John Hamm. He's the admiral in charge over here. And bro, it's like every single point he's doubting this man or standing in his way. And he is a fucking asshole, but he plays the fuck out of it, okay? Because he's by the book, by the regulations, and at the same time though, he's not even gonna attempt to have every single one of these dudes try and get home. Tom Cruise has constructed this whole plan specifically so that they will have a chance of making it home. But John Hamm doesn't really care about that. And after a while, it gets to the point he's training them, and they're not even close, bro. They can't even fly under 300 feet. And then they're going like 450 knots per hour. And it's like, bro, y'all gotta up the ante tremendously, and no one's even coming close. And then when Maverick gets out here and starts harassing y'all like how an enemy fighter jet would, it's going poorly every single time. Hangman's hanging his people out to dry. Rooster's going too slow and being too cautious, and they're not communicating like that. And so John Hamm's like, you know what? I'm gonna take over from here, because what you've demonstrated is that this is impossible. All right, we ain't got time for this. The dateline's been moved up a week, so yeah, I got it from here. Thank you. Goodbye. I'm telling you, dude, this man is a schmuck. What does Maverick do? Obviously, I'm gonna go hit the course and show you how to do it, and I'm gonna shave 20 seconds off, son. Oh my goodness. But see, what's crazy is he set this plan up to do this, but even after you do this whole maneuver and then you do the big G stunt, once you get right over the mountain, all of a sudden the anti-air missiles can lock on you and stuff like that because you're back within radar range. It's like, so it is giving you the best chance, but it's like, man, you're really not in the greatest position that way either. But the reason why they're doing it like this is because the new fighter jet generation that the enemy has, they said they can basically have mediocre pilots, and they will match you and probably best you. You can't outrun them in what you got. It's another level, dog. It's another level. And when you get to see that later on in the movie, it is crazy, because they start doing some fancy flying, because like the plan works. It does work out, because Maverick, the last week he pulled a miracle, son. Like he got up in the business of every single one of them, but he also took steps to make sure that they were a team, that they would depend on each other. And after he showed them that it was possible, it really did inspire them all to go out there and get it done. And we even had the throwback scene where they're, out playing on the beach, shirtless, all that. Even 60-year-old Tom Cruise out there getting it, yes sir. But and John Hamm comes out. We only have a few days left, right? And he's like, oh no, you want me to make a team? There's your team. But it is honestly, I love the pace that he was able to take this little motley crew about, because honestly you didn't think it was going to be possible. And the stakes were raised when the deadline gets moved up. They go and do the mission, but they succeed, even though there's some failures and mishaps that happen, because they're supposed to be able to mark the laser or mark the target with a laser, and then the pilot actually fires on that laser, you know what I'm saying, in order to reduce error, things like that. But one of the laser goes out, and then Rooster has to hit that shit blind. He does pull that shit off. They make it sound like you literally have to pull off 2 miracles back to back in order to make this shit happen. And his wingman right now is Maverick, because they almost got him up out of here completely. But I think they realized at the end of the day, it's like, give us the best chance to win. It's like any team, dog. Like, yeah, you want to segue on and give it to the new folks, the new generation. That's fine. I understand wanting these old niggas to have let it go. I get it. But at the same time, put the best men on the field. Put the best men on the court. You know what I'm saying? It's like, we're trying to win a championship out here. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? All right? But immediately the dogfight ensues afterward, and there's actually a couple new fighter jet pilots that do kind of get the drop on them, because they were patrolling and it was unexpected. But hey, there was no turning back, and it was so cool because they're flying in, and you just see all these fucking Tomahawk missiles going past these niggas. Oh man, like I said, directing clean, crispy clean. It's just one of those things that, yeah, I know the missiles or whatever was probably CGI, but obviously they were CGI. But the planes, you have to have the actual jets in this movie in order to make it work. CGI would not do it justice. They start getting into the dogfight afterwards, and it is wild, bro. You see jets going everywhere, explosions happening everywhere, and it's crazy because, like, you could tell that they're a lot better of a team now, but it almost gets to the point where you think that they're panicking, but they're not. But everyone's talking at the same time, and it's just straight mayhem and madness. But everyone's able to basically get out, and then one of them gets to drop on Rooster, and obviously Maverick pulls some fancy flying, and then he actually, gets in the way of the missile and Rooster's jet. And he gets shot down in enemy territory. Now, they don't know if he's alive. They didn't see a shoot, nothing like that. Everyone assumes that he's dead. And Rooster is being ordered to go back to base. Just like everyone else, there's nothing they can do for him. Basically abandon him. And like, they succeeded in the mission, so it does make sense. And that is one of the risks. Like, you got to be prepared to be there. And that's just, you gotta live with that. I mean, you succeeded in your test, so that in and of itself should be enough. And bro, I swear this nigga Maverick refuses to die, because then he's out on the snow, and he wakes up, and then he has to start hitting the Tom Cruise run from Mission Impossible, because all of a sudden there's a helicopter on his ass. But obviously he's a regular dude. He ain't Ethan Hunt, so the helicopter does get the drop on him. And then Rooster comes back and does end up shooting down the helicopter. But he actually does get shot down himself. So him and Maverick are stuck out here. And he's basically like, what the hell's wrong with you? I did that so you wouldn't be down here. Now you stuck with me. What is wrong with you? He's like, what? You told me not to think. And he's been telling him that the whole time throughout the movie. Don't think, just do. And that's what he did. He followed his advice. And can't really argue with that one. So what do? Fuck it. We ain't got no planes. Let's go steal one of their planes. Not only that, we're gonna go steal one of their old hoopties. It's like, dog, and they had to do it for nostalgia's sake. Go get the fucking F-14. And I love how Rooster's over here talking about, will that bucket of boats even fly? We don't even know. But they are able to actually infiltrate this little base because everyone's going crazy. They already blew up the runway and stuff like that. So the enemy troops are scrambling everywhere. They just kind of walk up in there and start running towards the hangar, y'all nonchalantly, and no one even really catches them, to be honest. But the runway's fucked, so they get out here, and they only have this little strip of runway to work with. And Maverick's like, yeah, basically treat this whole like the boat about to take off, son. And they was like, Rich was like, what are you doing? We ain't got no runway. What are you doing? But Maverick pulls it off in the F-14, and they're getting out of there and they're making it back. But then 2 new generation fighter jets pull up on them, and bro, they are so outmatched, it's crazy. And the only way that this nigga Maverick's able to actually deal with it, number one, he's got Rooster giving him the lowdown, you know, providing support. He's his cockpit man. So he's having to basically he's using the enemies against themselves, right? Because it doesn't seem like he's really got the firepower or the speed to outmaneuver them like that. So he's having to just pull like crazy evasive maneuvers while they're like weaving in and out of each other. And he actually confuses one of them and has him end up shooting this partner. And then they're using flares and all types of other stuff to get away from the second one, and then he has to dip down even lower amongst the canes in order to confuse the navigation systems. He pulls another crazy maneuver, and then he actually gets that nigga. And you think it's done. We're gonna get back home, everything's gravy. Another one pulls up, and it's over, bro. We exhaust all our missiles, we exhaust all the flares, we're dead to rights. And then you get worried because you think a repeat's gonna happen. And Maverick tells him, and you know he doesn't want to have to do that, but he's like, I can't get mine from where I'm at. You gotta pull the eject. Because his was like locked or something like that. But so was Miles Teller's. So they can't eject. They're dead to rights. And as soon as that nigga gets the lock and lets that missile go, who comes in to save the day? My nigga Hangman. Alright, and I know he was pissed because he didn't get selected for the mission off the jump, obviously, because he had some shortcomings of his own, regardless of all his skill. Because it was Payback and Fanboy, and then, you know, Phoenix and Bob, and the other 2 planes, and then it was, you know, Goose and Maverick and the other ones, right? So, Hangman was the 5th reserve man. And, you know, he comes through with the banner talking about, your savior is here. Hey, I respect it. And by the end, yes, you know, the Memorial Iceman Maverick moment happens between Rooster and Hangman. You know, they good now. They solid because they've been clashing throughout the whole movie. Hangman was even ribbing man about his dead father and stuff like that. So, you know, Hangman don't really give a fuck. But I have to say, it's like, I'll say this. I do think that Tom Cruise probably should have went. He probably should have died, and I would have been fine with that. I was kind of hoping that they were doing that and they would commit to that. But I am fine with it simply because they have set it up, if they want, to do more Top Gun. I kind of hope they don't. I kind of hope they leave it be, you know. I'm sure Maverick's teaching the Top Gun school, and, you know, these new guys, they're going to be the next ones running it for quite a while. But, you know, we don't really have to keep dragging out the Top Gun series, because this number 2, y'all, it was great. It was an 8 out of 10. That is the official rating, an 8 out of 10. Just an excellent movie in terms of the music. We brought back the old retro music. We even start the movie the same way. All the music swelling in different spots, the camera shots. It's just, we got the technology now to really make Top Gun look good. And I have to say, they did a fantastic job with that. But the crew, I have to say, in terms of a whole crew, I like this Top Gun more because you get to know the other people besides the stars more. And I appreciate that. You know, obviously we don't get a ton about Fanboy and Payback or Phoenix and Bob, but we get enough to where we like, you know, we're invested in them and we don't want to see any one of them get taken out. Things like that. So, yeah, I do wish that Maverick would have, you know, went out. It was set up for him to go out in the perfect way, really. But it's fine. It's fine. I think it does work out really good. And I do like the fact that they flip some of the old things on their head with this new movie, because, you know, Rooster's the opposite of Maverick. He's too cautious and things like that. And then the antagonist is not the one that's all by the books like how Iceman was back in the day. He's the one that's more reckless like how Maverick was back in the day. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, all this whole crew has got this overinflated sense of self, in which they did back in the day too. But it wasn't like this. It wasn't like this. And I get it, you know. They're the new hot shots, the young new hotness. They think they're them ones. But Maverick had to show them that there's levels. And then once they got out into real combat and a real deal dogfight, I think they understood that, yeah, like this isn't for the games. This is real deal, and you gotta just respect Maverick that much more. The fact that he's been involved in all types of missions like this throughout all his years of service. But like I said, that is it for the Top Gun movie review. Definitely make sure to go and watch it. You can watch the original Top Gun before or after. Honestly, it's not bad to watch it after the new one, because you'll just notice all the stuff that they redid it better, like the instructor versus student dogfight training scenes, the course that they were having to navigate, things like that. It was just well done. And I think that most sequels don't hit the mark, but this one did. So yeah, that's all you gotta know, man. This one hit the mark. I didn't have the greatest expectations. I really didn't, because it's hard, man. It's so hard, especially after 30-something years of waiting. But I think that they hit the mark on this one. But let me know what y'all thought about the movie. Like, comment, subscribe. It's been your boy T-Rav. I'm out.